Jonathan, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're great. We are so we're neighbors in our
Yes.
building here. And you're new to this building maybe in the last 2 years?
Yeah, year and a half or so.
Year and a half.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So your full name is
Jonathan Esposito.
Esposito. Okay. So
Yes.
you're a paisan.
Yes.
All right. Where did you grow up?
West Hartford.
Really?
Yeah.
An Italian in
Two
West
miles away from
Hartford.
here. Yeah, I know.
I grew up with some Espositos. As a matter of fact, one of my good colleagues down in New Haven is Tom Esposito. I know there's a million of you guys.
Yeah, there's a lot.
But yeah, and I grew up with some other Espositos. I grew up in the New Haven area.
Okay.
So you're a West Hartford boy.
I am.
A Hall, Connard, or KO?
Connard.
You're a Connard. Okay, my wife's Connard,
Okay.
but she's older than you, I think. How old are you?
I just turned 32.
All right, sorry. So she's a little older than you. So she's Connard. And so you grew up in this town. All right, so let's start like, young. So were you, when you grew up here, were you an intact family, like mother, father together?
No, so my parents actually got divorced when I was 2.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay, so like me, yeah.
So, yep. So my dad,
So you've always known two separate households.
always. Yeah, so we grew up with my mom, but my dad, we would see him every weekend. We'd go and stay with him.
Okay.
He'd come up during the week. So very close.
So
Yeah, very, very
so
close. with my
true, like you had a shared parenting,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and where did he live?
Down in the New Haven area.
Okay.
So Brantford.
Oh, Brantford.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I love Brantford.
So,
All right, and then your mom stayed here.
yep.
Okay. And what did your parents do? What was their? How did they make a living?
So my mom was in sales, like pharmaceutical
Yeah,
sales.
okay.
Growing up, and then my dad is in the healthcare space.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, so both working parents.
Yep.
How about siblings?
One older sister.
Okay.
She's 2 years older than me.
Okay. Where's she now?
She's actually in Glastonbury.
Okay.
So not too far.
Is sales as well?
No. So she is actually now in like the account management side.
Okay.
But she was always in like marketing,
Okay.
advertising, and digital media and stuff like that.
All right. So you do that. So you go. So regular childhood. You go through all the West Hartford school system, which is an awesome school
Yep.
system.
Duffy,
My wife does.
Sedgwick, Conard.
Duffy, Sedgwick, Connard.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if my wife went to Duffy. I think she went to. I don't know all of them. All U.S. Hartford people
Yeah,
know it.
there's-
She grew up on Thompson Road. Where would that put her? Right over here.
Oh,
And definitely Sedgwick.
yeah, definitely.
I know she went to Sedgwick and she went to Connard. I forgot. She's gonna kill me when I don't know that. She's told me that. I'll ask her.
Yeah.
So you do that with your sister. Normal childhood, right? West Hartford childhood, which is a nice place to grow up.
Oh yeah.
And did you play sports?
I did.
What'd you play?
So growing up, played football, basketball, baseball.
Oh, so you're an athlete.
Yep. Did a little bit of lacrosse at one point.
Okay.
Growing up as well.
Would
So,
you
yeah,
agree that
always-
lacrosse goalies, there's something wrong with them?
Oh yeah.
All right, because all my friends that played lacrosse,
Nice.
they always said to me like they're great guys, but like you gotta like just watch it. Like, you gotta look after them,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
right? Because there's something like a screw loose.
Correct. Yes. Many screws.
Because you're sitting there and this 100-mile-an-hour ball's coming right
taking
at
shots.
you. Yeah. There's something wrong with them.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I always ask every lacrosse player, like, "Oh yeah, those guys are fucking insane."
Off their wagon. Yeah.
All right, but great to party with and hang out with, go out to dinner with.
Yeah.
Right, and with like you need them like you're like 2 a.m. You're like, I got a TV I gotta hang. You're like, I'm coming over, right?
Always there. Yep.
Always there.
Yep.
All right, so you do that, and then do you go to college afterwards?
I did. So I went to Princeton down in New Jersey.
Okay, yeah.
Played football there.
I've heard of it. Alexander Hamilton went there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you go to that's D1, isn't it?
yeah.
All right. So you played Division I football.
Yep.
Did not know that about you. What position?
I was like a hybrid running back.
Okay.
Fullback. So yeah, offensive side.
Okay.
And
Did you escape injury with football?
so in high school, I played every snap I was on the field. Offense, defense,
Wow.
special teams, the whole 9 yards. And of course, I was extremely sore after every game, but had no major injuries. In college, had some ankle issues, foot issues. Yeah, so college was, unfortunately, did sustain a couple injuries. I mean, nothing huge. no ACL.
Do you have kids?
I do.
We'll
too.
talk about that. Would you let your kids play football?
I get asked that a lot. The game is evolving a lot, so I know they're putting a big focus on safety.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see where it's at. I have an 18-month-old and a 2-month-old,
All
so I
right.
still have a little bit of time.
Yeah, yeah.
But but yeah, we'll see where the sport is at that time.
And what the safety things are, because there's the CTE Institute in Boston, and they say it's child abuse to let your kid play, and it's controversial. And other people say it's crazy if you can take precautions, but team sports are fantastic for kids.
That's what I was going to say.
And it gives you so many lessons, and I want to talk about that a little bit because I wasn't a team sport guy, but I know it gives a lot of lessons into the type of work that we do as solo entrepreneurs.
Right.
All right, so you go to Princeton, graduate from Princeton. Yep. Just regular 4-year program.
Yep.
Okay, and you played football the whole time.
Football the whole time. Yep.
Okay, and then what?
And then I graduated, and I was deciding between some finance roles, consulting roles, and then made a pivot because I got introduced to somebody, the founder of a tech startup, and so pivoted and started just as a entry-level sales rep, business development rep at a tech company in New York.
In the city?
In the city. Yep. Okay. So I moved to the city.
22 years old.
Yep.
So you live in Manhattan?
Live in Manhattan.
Oh, wow. So that's like the 22 years old, the king of the world, right?
Yeah, it was incredible.
That's incredible.
So I made such a late switch on where I was going to join that I didn't have housing locked up yet. So I was renting from a family friend in White Plains.
Oh, good. And taking the Metro North down?
Yeah, taking Metro North in. But I was sleeping in the office because it was sales, and you could call the product that we could sell to anyone, India, anywhere.
Oh, so
across the world. So I was just hitting the phones at 300 calls a day.
Oh, cold calls?
So, yeah, cold calls.
Oh, dude, I did cold calls for a while. Let's talk about that.
Builds thick skin.
First of all, I find it like you have to almost disassociate.
Correct.
Because it's like, if you're a regularly ordered person, it's hard to, rejection sucks.
Yep.
And we just talked about this. I went to a conference out in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And Provo was there, BYU. And I don't know if you know this, but I learned all this stuff. Most sales companies that have like door-to-door sales, they set up their huge operations in Provo because they get these Mormon boys that have been on missions.
Yeah.
And they're knocking on doors in the inhospitable places. The doors are slamming in their face, 300 a day.
Yep.
So you send them to Akron, Ohio to knock on the door to sell you lawn service. They don't give a fuck if people reject them. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like, we were rejected a million times in Jamaica. Like, this is nothing. People are pulling machetes on me. They don't care.
Yep.
So they go there, and so then these guys come back after the summer. They're driving BMWs. They make $100,000 in the summer. So they then hire them for these lawn companies, and they're great. It's also though the flip side is they're all also it's the scam capital of the country because they also use their powers for bad.
Right.
But I did that cold calling, man, and you're just like this thing pops up, and you're like, well, click.
Yeah, click. I know. So yeah, like I said though, it does.
But no, but it builds a gear in you though.
Yes, and so. Yeah, so I was sleeping in the office, so they moved me in. They're like, all right, you're working so hard. Like, we are going to match whatever you're paying for rent in Westchester. We're going to get right next to the office because, like, you got to go home. I was sleeping in the supply closet. They had a couch. They had a little gym in the office.
Did you date at all, or are you just working?
So, yeah, I mean, I've been dating the same girl since high school. So
your wife?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm now married to
the
lady that I started dating in high school.
Wow.
So she knew who I was, and she.
Oh, okay. So dating, you didn't need to date because you had a girlfriend.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I was going to say that because that would be hard to do.
Exactly. So
you have your high school sweetheart.
Yeah.
Oh my God. She went to Connor too?
She did not. So she's actually born and raised in Ecuador. We met on a family vacation. Stayed in touch.
Oh my God. I got to get into this.
Yeah.
And you speak Spanish, obviously. A little bit?
I speak a little bit. She's
Poquito?
Yeah.
Poquito, you use the Google Translate a lot? When she's
she's fully fluent. Her dad is from England.
Oh, right. Okay.
So she's fully fluent.
But does she yell at you in Spanish when she's mad at you?
Yeah, that'll come out sometimes. Yeah, the Latina.
Oh yeah. You gotta be. The Latinas are tough, man. Oh boy. Are your kids bilingual?
So they're 18 months and 2 months.
Oh, okay.
But she speaks them in Spanish.
Oh, good. Yeah, you want that.
I speak them in English. She speaks them in Spanish, and
that's fantastic. They'll be bilingual by the time they're like 3 or 4, and
they recognize all.
Wait, so all right, I gotta take a little rabbit hole here. So family vacation to Ecuador?
No, to Aruba.
Okay.
They happened to be there. We were there, staying at the same resort.
What
there for
the
a week.
heck?
We met like
this never works out. You know this.
I know. She's a special girl. So
wow. So you meet her there. You're 16.
Yeah, I just turned 16. She was 14, almost going to be 15.
Okay.
And we
hit it off. And
stayed it off, and
the internet's around then, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So like AOL,
AIM. Yeah. What was your screen name?
Yeah. Charger 33.
Okay, mine, I had it was Rich Sue for You. I knew a long time ago, like,
There
but I
you
don't
go.
sue people. I mean, I
Yeah.
technically do for divorce, but it's so
Right.
funny. That was mine, Rich Sue for You.
Wow.
I still remember that AOL. And then you put like a thing like out of remember the thing you get a thing if somebody wasn't there?
Like
That
your
messenger
away
was
message.
good.
Yeah.
That was a good thing.
So we went through all means of communication. So we started off on that.
Did you write letters at all?
I sent a package there one time.
Okay, like a care
It
package.
took like 7 months. To get there. So I'm like, okay, no more of that. And then she sent something to me, and it had like 4 boxes and layers of tape because they went through it so many times through customs and all. I'm like, okay, no more like.
Did you ever go to Ecuador to see her? How old were you when you first went to Ecuador?
So I think the first time I went with one of my best friends from here.
Yeah.
So the two of us went down. I think that was junior year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
By yourself?
Senior year, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Your parents were cool with it?
Yeah. So she came at that point, I think 2 or 3 times with her family. And so we got to know them. Well.
Oh, I see. The families got to know each other and they said, oh, this is a thing.
So that's why, I went down with him. And then I went another 1 or 2 times in college. She would come because I had to train during the summers while in college. So she would come up and stay with me down at
Wow.
Yeah. So
And her dad's English?
her dad is English. He was the captain of a cargo ship. So his port from England was to Ecuador. And that's how
she's
40
and he
years
met an
ago.
Ecuadorian woman.
Yeah, so that's
It's almost the same
he met
story,
her mom.
right?
Yeah, similar.
Wow.
So, yeah, we stayed in touch since then.
And so you go down there and did you know at some point like this feels really good? Like this is
she's a very special, like extremely caring, such a good person.
Wow.
So yeah, it was, I mean, despite all the challenges of long distance and all that
You made it work.
We made it work.
So all right, so you're sleeping in the supply closet, but she knows like you don't have to worry about like dating women because you have a girlfriend.
Correct, because she's still, so we're a year and a half apart, but the way the school years line up, she was 2 school years behind me.
Okay.
So that's why I graduated.
She was still in college?
She was still
Was she in college here or there?
in Ecuador.
Okay.
And then she did her master's at Columbia in New York.
I
so
see.
that's why she moved to Columbia.
Oh, right.
She
And
moved to New York.
And then you moved in.
And that's when by that time I was living in an apartment.
So you move in, she does her master's, you're living together while she's doing her master's. Correct. And what is her master's in?
Actuarial science.
Oh, so she's really smart.
Very, very smart.
Right.
Very
Is she like Spectrum-y?
She,
you know, like the engineer type.
She is
like they're very like the actuaries. I find like when I've represented them, they're very like very like black and white.
Correct. Yeah, she very calculated.
Yes.
Person. Yes. She's a very calculated person.
What was that movie? There was a movie about an actuary that he calculates like was it Ben Stiller? He's an actuary and he's dating and he like always calculates risk of like dying.
Yes. Yes. Somebody actually just
look that up, Sammy. Google that.
I haven't.
It's so
haven't
funny.
Seen it,
it's hilarious
when I said
because he's like obsessed. He's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. That's like a 1 point.
Right,
and he's like always living his life like that. No, we always joke in the office, and especially when I did closings. One of the guys that would refer me, he sent me to an engineer, and every time I always ask, as an engineer, and I went to the guy's house like to do him a favor or whatever. What was it?
Along Came Polly.
Along Came Polly. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I would come, and he sent me to an engineer's house, and the fucking engineer's reading all this stuff. He's like, well, "What about this?" I said, "Listen, man, you can't change any of this shit. You gonna pay your mortgage? None of this off. As long as you pay it, it's your house, and you'll keep it." That's what I tell people. But like the engineer went, it was like a 3-hour closing. I'm like, no, never again. Correct. Wow. So she does that. So you're in New York. You're doing now. At some point, do you stop with the cold calls? Do you get like advanced to like a sales director or something?
Correct. So that's why. So I was there at that company.
And you're what at this time? 26.
Yeah. So, I was at the company out of school for about 2 years. So I was doing that. Then I got promoted to a trainer role. And then I had the opportunity to go and be the first sales hire, the first like business development hire at another company. So I went there and same thing. At that time, I was in an apartment, but still grinding, like 20-hour days, 7 days a week, like.
But you're making money.
Grinding. Yeah, we were making good money, so couldn't complain on that front. But so I was there for like 2 or 3 years, and became the director of sales there. Yeah, same thing. Probably 26 by then.
Right.
The company ended up getting acquired. the two founders that I was working with.
Oh, so it was a startup. Did you have some stock?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
good. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So then so got acquired. Then they stayed on for another year or so, and then they left. They started another company. They now each own separate companies. One is a public company that went public. Then the other one is one of the highest valued non-public company.
Wow.
We started, humanoid robot companies on CNBC all the
So
time.
you were surrounded at an early, you're an adult in your adult years, like post college, with entrepreneurs.
And the people that I was close with, like 2 billionaires now.
Two billionaires.
Yeah, 2 billionaires are who I learned from.
Wow.
So the first, right off the bat, at the first tech company, he was a Harvard football player, so that's why.
Oh, so you bonded right away.
We bonded right away. I got the inside scoop on a lot of things, and he taught me so much. I learned so much from him. Then went and started at the next company, and 2 people who eventually became.
Let's before we go back to your stuff, I want to. This is such a good point, because learning from these guys, because I listen to, I consume lots of information and podcasts and things about, because we're both in small businesses, right, and how we grow them and how you make money. And somebody told me this, and tell me if there are some of the things I've learned about these guys that they're cut differently, that are like this. They've got huge balls.
Yes.
There's no, they fear nothing.
Correct.
And they act decisively and quickly.
Correct. Very quickly.
Quickly. Like they don't sit and I'm going to sleep on it. It's decision immediately, right? Did you see that too?
Absolutely.
Right. You got to,
I'm getting goosebumps because I really sat through it. I saw it, and
the guy comes and pitches him. He's like, yep, I got it here. How much you need? Right. Boom.
Correct. And it is, he tells stories like I was asking friends and family for money just to pay rent. Like I'm living off of ramen, but I knew the end game was that we just had to push through. You just got to survive. And quick decisions, fast, high intensity, very, very, very
right. And so you think those are both right? They have huge, they just make decisions. Correct. They're risk averse. They're not risk averse.
Not risk averse.
And they just right. They just do it. And they work. They're solely focused. Right. Is that the other thing too? They just working on their business at all times.
Yeah. And that's why I knew eventually that's what I wanted to become.
Right.
And so I matched their
work ethic with their
energy. Well, that's why I was there 7 days a week.
Well, there's no shortcuts.
Yeah.
There's no shortcuts to any of this. You can't do it. I always tell my kids that too. And that's really true. You can't, there's no, unless you hit the lottery, which is not.
Right.
And I get
too. Huh? I say that now too, of control the controllables. You could control how hard you could work. You control the hours that you're putting in. You control the people you surround yourself with. You control, going out and networking and meeting and leveling up. And people ask me all the time, oh, how'd you start? Why would you get into the mortgage? Why would you start your company in 2022, 2023? When mortgage rates were at their high, the mortgage industry was crashing. No one was closing deals. Why would you start then? I can't control rates. I can't control inventory, but I could control my work ethic. I could control
your marketing,
my marketing,
how you treat people,
employees. Exactly. So that's why.
Wow. And it's funny. I bet you these billionaires, they're still working.
Oh my God. Yeah.
They don't need anybody.
They do not. They don't need.
It's not about the money.
They're working harder now than ever before.
Right. And they're for want of nothing.
Yeah.
Private jet. They can sit on a beach for the rest of their life.
For the rest of their lives. And they want to go, and it's just ingrained in their DNA.
No, right.
It's work hard and to make an impact. That's what they both talk about.
Make an impact.
One is in the humanoid robot space. And he's just saying
this is going to change the world.
Yeah, it's going to change the world, right? And just efficiency and in warehouse labor and manufacturing.
Oh.
It's going to change the world. It's going to change.
Oh, injury. You don't have to worry about injury.
Correct. And then the other founder is at Archer Aviation, and so they're creating an eVTOL electric vertical and takeoff landing. And so it's an electric helicopter, which is 1 million times more safe than a regular helicopter. It's 100 times quieter than a regular helicopter. And I was talking about Sammy before we got started.
Yeah.
And she said, I know her commute in LA was 2.5 hours on some days. And so this will get you from, downtown LA to LAX in 10 minutes or whatever, from Midtown Manhattan to JFK in 7 minutes versus 2 hours. So they're doing things that are changing the world.
So that's why they do that.
Yeah.
So you become a sales. She's doing her master's. You finish that. When do you leave New York?
During the pandemic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
So
When everyone is staying.
yeah.
So do you say to her, "Hey, look, let's go back to West Hartford, where I'm from"?
Yeah. So I mean, at that point, I remember I went home. Her company.
Who was she working with? Like what kind of like
She's working
insurance?
for an insurance company,
Okay.
Sampo International
Okay.
in New York, and my company let us go on I think a Tuesday. She had a really big meeting on like Friday, but both of our companies were like, okay, or maybe hers was a Thursday, and they were like, okay, we'll go home for the weekend. And for me, it was like the rest of the week, like we'll gather up on Monday. We'll see where we're at on Monday. And obviously, a year later,
Yeah.
COVID was still there, but yeah, it just kept getting extended. So we were like, okay, in the meantime, we're gonna stay at my mom's house in West Hartford.
Okay.
And one of my buddies who at the time lived on LaSalle, like 2 or 3 houses into LaSalle, and he was like, move back, don't go back to New York. And I told him, I said, if you find a house closer to the center than yours, I'll move back. Kind of as a joke, there's literally 2 houses that were closer than his. And what do you know? The first house outside of the center comes for sale. He sends me a picture. He's like, you got to come and check it out.
Oh my gosh.
And submit an offer, got it. So then we officially moved back then.
So you live in the center?
Yeah, so right outside of the center.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So you like literally, that's literally. Like right there.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So you come back, and so during COVID you do this.
During COVID, exactly. And then I didn't buy the house, so we came back I think in February or March
of 21
of 2020.
So COVID started I think March of 2020, right?
Yeah, March.
Yeah.
It was March. Yep. So we came in March, and then we closed on the house in November. So we were here. We didn't know what we were going to do, and then became 5, 6, 7 months. We're like, okay, we're going to stay.
So at that time, are you working or collecting?
Yeah, so still at the sales. So
okay, just working remote.
Yeah, we're just remote. Yeah,
okay.
So I was the director of sales at the tech company in New York, and so the company got acquired in January. The 2 founders left in January of 2020.
Right, this is post-acquisition.
Correct, post-acquisition.
They keep them on for a year
or two, whatever. So in January they left. We got new leadership in. They were great. Got along with them really well. But then obviously when COVID hit, they laid off some people, and 2 of the people who left, I was kept in very close contact with, and they went and started at a mortgage company, and because the owner of that mortgage company was friends with one of the 2 founders. And so the owner of the mortgage company connected with the founder and was like, hey, I'm looking to scale. And that's why 2 people went over on the operations side, went over to the mortgage company. And I started investing in real estate like right out of school. It was something I was really passionate about. And so the 2 people that I was close with that started at the mortgage company, every now and again, they would check in like once a month, twice a month. And they were like, listen, I think this mortgage game could be really interesting for you. And at the time, But
you invested in real estate, but you knew nothing about mortgages.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And at the time, I was working very early stages, but was working with one of the 2 founders on starting a tech company. And so we were going through and we were, doing our research. And so when they approached me, I'm like, no way, I'm not going from tech to mortgages. Like, that's crazy. And after, 5, 6 months of them continuing to come back to me and being like, listen, I think this could be a really good fit for you. You love real estate, you love sales, you love, the analytics, right? And looking at the numbers and doing all that. And you love networking and like growing your business and, connecting with people. Like, it could be a really, really good fit for you. So I finally gave in. I was like, fine, I'll have a conversation just to see if it's a good fit. If not, they were like, we'll take care of you on your mortgages. So like, it's a win-win. So went, had the conversation, and that's when I was like, wow, I actually think that this could be a good fit. And so because of those reasons, right? I love the industry and just real estate in general. The sale is super rewarding. Like, you're helping people accomplish the American dream. I love networking and building the business through the community and working with people. And
so you start
analytics.
So do you start RΗZE?
No. So I started at that brokerage.
Oh, which was what?
In Go Rascal Mortgage.
Okay.
And so I started there in November. I left the tech company in November of 2020.
Okay.
Started studying for the test, took the test, got licensed, because at that time, that's when the industry was going crazy. So I took the test, passed right away. It took several months to get approved. So I didn't get fully licensed until the beginning of 2021.
Okay.
2021, obviously the industry was still going crazy. Rates were mid twos. And at that time, I was working my boss's book of business, because he's been in the industry for 20 years, and was like, hey, here's a list of, 1,000 people that have rates above 4 or 5%.
Call them and refinance them.
Exactly. Call them, refinance. So I got thrown right into the fire. And I was making same thing. At that time, there was nothing to do. It was COVID. Everything was shut down.
But those are warm leads because they really have a need.
They were warm leads, exactly. So I worked on almost 300 deals my first year in the industry.
Wow. Right, because it's 2%. Who could say no to that?
Who could say, exactly. So went in and just got thrown in the fire, learned a lot in a very short amount of time. And then January 2022 rolls around and almost overnight rates pop. So I'm like, okay, what do we do? There's no more refinance opportunities. What do we do? And it was a true blessing in disguise, because that's when he was like, listen, well, this is the toughest part of the business, but something that you're really good at. This is where you have to go and connect with people and, real estate agents and win the purchase business. And so.
Right, so you got to work the realtors.
Right.
Which, by the way, which reminds me, I have to hook him up with my buddy Stefan, who's a realtor. He's one of my closest friends. Sold our house, and he plays golf every day. He loves golf,
right.
And he plays at Farmington Woods.
Okay, awesome.
And he's obsessed with golf. He lives for it. You guys will hit it off.
Match made in heaven.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
and he can refer you a lot of business.
Awesome.
So Stefan, if you're listening, let's talk. So you start now trying to sell.
Yep. So now I'm like, okay, we have to win the purchase business, right? There's no more refinances. We have to win the purchase business through realtors. What do? I go and I pull the roster of every real estate brokerage in town. So Coldwell, Berkshire, Keller Williams, William Ravens. And so I have a list of 600 names, whatever it is. I'm going through, I'm like, oh, I played football with her son. Oh, his daughter was in my class.
Right.
Oh,
so you're trying to find a connection.
Yeah, I just trying to. And I pulled, 20, 30 people that I knew, that I personally knew. And they gave me an opportunity, some quicker than others. Some I had to be
right. You got to
work it. Because obviously they have all been in the industry for a while. They all have their contacts. And so, but they gave me the opportunity, just worked my tail off for them. And, started.
Was it just you at that point?
Yeah, just me. And I had some support behind me. But yeah, it was just me, Ostelko Rascal. And
but they're real, but they don't care where you are. It's you.
No,
it's you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And so end of 2022 came, and I was just so fortunate and so thankful for the opportunities that I got. In that year, I think it closed right around 150 purchase deals.
And that's you. In that less than a year.
Right.
That's great.
So I was there.
So your town came back to you, right?
Exactly.
You come.
And that's
home.
why I'm forever indebted to this town.
Right, because now you're here.
They believed in me. They gave me a shot.
And you come in COVID and then the realtors. That's great. And then you leverage those connections,
correct?
Which is something, the name of my podcast, you'll appreciate it as a paisan, is it's I'll call my guy.
Of course.
It was I got a guy, but that was taken. But it's I'll call my guy. And the point of that is, and I tell my kids this, and Sammy hears this every time, but I can't say it enough. In my view, and tell me if I'm crazy, the most important thing are relationships. There's nothing more important.
By far.
Nothing. Make connections with everyone.
Yep.
And learn from everyone.
So I met a family while I was down in Princeton who I became very, 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 very close with.
Like through their kid?
No. So I was there. So actually after my sophomore year there, I was supposed to be working on Wall Street with a trader. The trader called me a week or two before summer. No, not even. Literally a day or two before graduation. And, when then Princeton has the reunions, and then I was going to go and start there. So he called me a day or two before the reunions, and was like, I'm so sorry. They just they closed my division. And so I'm scrambling. So I call my coach and I'm like, hey, do you have any opportunities for me? And they're like, oh, well, actually a Princeton grad just reached out and said their next door neighbor owns two or three Planet Fitnesses, and they're open to any Princeton football interns who want to learn how to run a business, how to scale for another location. So I was like, great, I'll take it. And so that's how I met them, and then I became very close with their son. But
I see. So it was like a mentorship from an alumni.
Exactly. But they would always say, so and then I got to know, and then we were very close for the remaining 2 years that I was at school, and still very close to this day. But he would always say, anytime he'd come to campus, because they were local, right? My family was in Connecticut. They were a town or two over. So I would see them a lot. They would come and see me. We get together once a week, twice a week, whatever it was. And he would always say, like, one thing that's like really special about you. I'm like, what? He's like, you talk to and connect with everybody. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, whether it's the guard, like the security guard that passing through,
I'm like, yeah.
Or like the receptionist at the
or the cab driver,
the cafeteria person, whoever, like, everybody, and like that's a special trait.
Sammy, what does this sound like? She was in court. She came to court yesterday. I wanted to see what I do, and like 10 marshals came up to me, like, Rock, how are you? Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, because they refer me business.
Right.
The marshals.
Right.
People are like there that someone's crying, and he's like, hey, call this guy. Yeah. Like they do. Yeah.
It's like that's what it's about. And like for me,
well, and it's not. But I sense this from you too. You don't do it just because it makes you money.
No, of course.
It's just how you live your life.
Yeah, like in college, I didn't.
Yeah, right. No, just,
like
you can't do it that way. It has to be authentic.
Correct.
You can just live your life like that, and it doesn't. It's funny. My son's a huge Broadway kid. He's 10 years old. He's been to like 100-something shows. We love Les Mis, their show, and the Thénardiers, those crooked like people that take Cosette. And one of the things they say in their like Master of the House song is, it doesn't cost you to be nice.
Correct.
It really doesn't cost you a thing.
Exactly.
And being nice is better than being grump.
Correct.
Right.
And so it's something. It came and like you said, it had nothing to do with the business.
No, I just
an
like
innocent sophomore in college.
Right, but it's just like you see somebody, you're like my son always gets sort of the he calls it I forget what he calls it. There's some new word that the Gen Alpha calls it, but he always gets like, because I like talk to people like whatever. But I think he also likes it because like we're in a cab in England because he loves Premier League soccer, and like I strike it up with the cab driver, and meanwhile the guy gives me his number. It turns out his family has been going to West Ham games since like 5 generations, right? This is like, so like the guy gives us number. So you need a ticket. I can get you a ticket anytime. I'll give it to you my cost. Like you make a connection like that. I can text the guy. I'm going to London. Like, hey, can you make 2 tickets? No problem, dude.
Correct. So that's why it's little things like that. That I learned at a young age from like my mom and dad. My mom would walk into
sales, a doctor's
office.
office.
They would but I would see her even outside of work. Right. She would walk in, and we've been doing. Picking up food from Stop and Shop and bringing it to the food drive ever since I could remember. My mom still does it to this day on Thursdays and Sundays. And but she'll walk in there and everybody will know her, and she'll light up the room and she'll smile, and and that's just part of just being a good person. Nice,
right? And the energy comes back to you.
Right, exactly.
So you work those first ones. So then when does RΗZE rise?
So after in 2020. When it was like a very difficult year in the mortgage industry, but I saw some, early success just from, once again, the community. That's when I was like, I could do this, and I really want to be a part of the community. Like, I want to start something here. The people, Go Rascal and the people there, I learned so much from them.
Where was their office?
Based out of New York.
Oh, it's a New York company. Okay.
So that's what, like, I love them. They were great.
But you wanted a storefront.
Exactly. It's time for me to like come back home. Is
RΗZE only ever existed here at 12 North Main?
Correct.
I see. So you then say you find space.
Yep.
And there was insurance in there before, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That comes available.
It was So that's when I said, okay, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do this, and that's where I told you rates, they just kept going up. Everyone like 2022.
But people still buy houses.
Correct.
And of course, you're also in, as you know. This market here is not the market out there.
Correct.
Like Florida right now is in the shit. It's falling apart. Here, it's hot as can be. Like I just bought a house. Like I basically said to them, no inspections, no mortgage contingency. And I called my mortgage broker and said, "Don't fuck me, bro," because like I'm going all in.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of because it's such a good place to live and raise a family.
Correct.
So you could find some success in that because they have to get their money from somewhere.
Exactly. So that's why very fortunate. And I was like, I just want to be a part of the community. It's time to start something here. And so when
you get all this space here, how many? So you have a brokerage? How does licensure work for mortgage brokers?
Yeah. So
or mortgage lenders or whatever.
Yeah. So you have to go through like all the NMLS and all the certificates and.
But are there 2 levels of licensure? Like, could you be a person that just works like making calls and closing deals, and then a person that owns a mortgage brokerage?
Yeah. So after a certain amount of time, that's when you could be eligible to be a brokerage.
Just like for realtor and real estate brokerage.
Exactly. Correct.
Okay. So when you first start, you don't have that, right? Because you need to get some time on the road.
Exactly.
I see.
And so
So you bring how many reps with you?
just me.
Just
So
you in,
it's
in that
just me
space?
as a salesperson, but I hired immediately.
Wait a second, but
support
I
staff.
gotta ask this because I think this is an important point. That's a huge space downstairs.
Correct.
You go by yourself?
Correct.
That's
So
some
that's why I
balls
was like,
on you, man.
as we spoke about before, I'm like, you got to go all in.
No, but
It's time to go all in.
that's
I know.
look,
It's on
listen,
the verge of insanity.
Listen, it's insanity because
Right.
I went from I took over somebody's lease like a firm when I finally got to West Hartford. I've been a lawyer 25 years, and it was down the street, and it was like they were retiring, and so they gave me a really good deal. Then I got another little space. I went to RÍZE for like just a year.
Yeah.
Then I got a space from Mike on the third floor, a little space, and I was like, okay, oh my God, am I gonna do this? And then I did the steps. You go all in and say,
All in.
give me 3,000 square feet.
Correct. All in. Yep. So that's why, yeah. And I had a vision, which I'll get to.
Yes.
But to your point, I knew people, the right in West Hartford Center above like Harvest.
Sinatra.
Yeah, the Sinatra building. And I know the Sinatra is very, very
Oh
well.
yeah, they're West
And so-
Hartford legends,
West
right?
Hartford, exactly. Yep. So
Should I have somebody on from there?
What's
One
that?
of the
Of
Sinatras?
course.
Yeah, that'd be
Absolutely.
great. Oh, you'll set that up? All right,
They're
yeah. I've
incredible.
heard about them, yeah.
Yes. So yeah, in the Sinatra building, and they were like, I could get you a space big, you could fit 6 people, whatever,
Right.
a couple $100. I'm like, nah, I'm going all in. So like 100x that.
Yes.
And now I'm down here. But it was all just part of the vision. And not only did I want to come out with a big bang and like immerse myself in the community, but it was also about giving back. And so I see the space as, you walk by a million times, but there's a private conference room. So like agents and clients could use that space and scan onto the TV and debrief after like a full day of showings. And we have that nice connection to Sally and Bob's on the
Oh, that's
other.
great,
So
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
order there, they'll drop it off, red carpet service, it's great.
We love it. We use
And then
it.
I also, they're awesome. But then I also have the open floor space, like in the
bullpen.
front, where it's like it's like an event space. So you have a big TV there that you can cast onto. We have the chairs. So we've had
Those
people
orange
come-
chairs, which are killer, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I gotta
Nice.
find out where you got those from because we need new chairs. And I
Yeah,
love those orange
Poppin'.
chairs.
They're great.
They're great. You just
Yeah,
walk by, like, oh wow.
Or the company's name is Poppin.
Poppin'.
P-P-I-N.
Oh, Poppin'. Okay. Oh yeah.
So that's where you got the
And
chairs.
they just ship them to you.
Yeah, you just shipped them easy.
Wow.
It's like a 2-step click in, or I think there's 3 things: the base, the stick,
Oh,
and
you
the chair.
choose what
Just
you want.
2 seconds and you put
Oh,
it right in.
wow.
So it's really nice. And you could select the color. I had to get a little Princeton Tiger in there, little orange and black.
That is right. The Tigers.
But so the event space, like we've had investor seminars there, we've had first-time homebuyer seminars.
Oh
there.
right.
We've
For
had
people that are looking
agents
to
come-
Airbnb or flip. And,
Correct. Or we've had agents come and present there, or we've had real estate attorneys come and discuss like the NAR situation. So we've leveraged the space and people could use it all for free to come. And so that's why we help them in that way. And that's also why I told you I had my own version of a Sammy, full-time digital marketing specialist. And all he does, obviously he helps with my content and RÍZE's content, but he was hired just to help our
That's
partners.
what she's doing. Yeah, she started
so-
with the podcast.
Yeah.
But the other thing we're also it's to talk about. It's interesting. Her other title is futurist, because companies are having now futurist because AI is coming.
Yep.
And so what her goal, what one of her other jobs is, she's going to be attending conferences and doing research and looking at all the AI space and seeing how we can get a lever up on people on our competition and whatnot by using the AI, because AI is going to eliminate a lot of things, but the people that have it, know how to leverage it, are going to be
Accelerate.
way ahead of other people, especially in the legal space.
So funny. That's how I was talking to my guy as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's like, oh my God, I was nerding out on like all these AI tools and up until 2 a.m. and doing this.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't know if you saw a recent video we put out of like the bears.
Oh, I didn't see it. Oh, the Bears, like from SNL?
No, like bear.
Oh,
like,
I
actual
did see
bears
that,
in
yes.
West Harvard, yeah.
I saw one
And,
the other
like,
day. I drove right down Race Road here, and there was a bear crossing the road.
So he did one of like interviewing the bears and like, what brings you to West Hartford? And then, he incorporates some RÍZE Mortgage stuff as well. So it was just a funny.
Sammy, we got to do a collab of some kind.
Yeah, we would love
like
that.
walk over there and like
Yeah, we
do
would
stuff.
love that. We would love that.
My friend and I used to have these wars in college. You remember what Columbia House was? They used to send you this thing. You're probably too young, but it would be a thing. It would be like 10 CDs for a penny, and you'd like attach a penny and send it back. And then you'd have to buy 2 more, and then you get 2 more CDs. And so you'd get like, it was kind of a good deal, but you'd always always get stuff. So we used to like sign each other up for it, and like CDs would come like at that, like we'd like do these wars with each other. We wish we could have filmed that stuff. It would have been funny. So you bring this here, and now how many folks work with you or work for you?
Now we have 6.
6.
And I was like, I'm the only loan officer, but a bunch of support. So like we have, our marketing, processors.
Oh, the processors. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're the loan. You're the only licensed loan officer.
So a lot of people on my team are licensed just to be able to answer questions.
That's what
like
makes
I just got my executive assistant license as well, because if somebody calls in and
says,
they're stuck on an app, you know, instead of like transferring to me or somebody else, like now she'll be able to go in there
because
and
she can give advice because she's licensed.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
She's licensed.
I see.
So a lot of people are licensed, but yeah, processors, loan officer assistants, my executive assistant, marketing specialist.
And how many people can you write for? Like a business? Like how many different lending institutions do you have?
So we're signed up with like 3 dozen.
Oh wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah, 2 to 3 dozen different lenders.
So that's how it works. So you're looking at like, you know, Ryan Keating?
Yeah.
Right. So he does my insurance. And so he's like, you know, he's probably writes for a bunch of people too, right? Correct. So how did so for him, it's price based a lot of times, mostly. Although the insurance agency is changing because insurance industry, because like you have to have a newer roof and some people are more fussy about it. He just shops it around for you.
Yeah.
Is that the same with you?
Yes. So same thing. We have the opportunity to go through, shop through rate. It's not always about rate and price. Obviously, it's a very important factor, but especially in this market, speed. Right. So like in order to win, we sometimes have offers that are like close in 12 days. So like there are only a very select few lenders that could get it done in a few days.
Right, because you have to because the agents they're telling you that you have to do no contingencies, fast close,
all that stuff. So yeah, so that's why, you know, it's not.
So you're like, okay, and then you have relationships, I'm sure, with certain lenders, and you're like, I know Deb over there, she's insane, and Deb will get this done for me.
Correct.
Right.
So we'll go.
And Deb gets an amazing Christmas gift from you every year, right? Yeah. Because she gets it done.
Well, they're great. Exactly. The lenders that we work with, and we're their clients, so they love us because
you're bringing them business,
we're sending them business. So yeah, it's just good relationships. They're our partners, right? Like the lenders that we're signing.
But as you know, someone could be good, but there's better people at companies than others, and you build a relationship with somebody who's like been doing it 35 years.
Exactly.
You know that they say to you 12 days, it's happening in 12 days.
Correct.
Right.
So that's why we are. Yes, price is super important, but there's a lot of other factors.
Speed, right?
Speed, also loan program, right? Like, oh, you have somebody, and we were talking about this. Like, oh, like you may not be a very clean, clear-cut W-2 employee. You have You know, you're a business owner. You have pass-through entities. You have write-offs.
Well, like for instance, like you and I have both are self-employed, right? Yep. So I mean, I get taxed as an S corp, right? Yep. I'm an LLC S corp election, so I file a separate thing, but I do take a W-2. And so like my wife gets a W-2 as well, but like my car, like I pay through the business. Now, in reality, like so for instance, we do this in child support. So some guy you come in and you have to pay child support. I said, well, wait a second here. Your business paying for your car, right? Your car, you're not using it all for business. So we add that back to your income.
Correct.
Your depreciation is horseshit. We're adding that back to your income.
Right.
You're paying for, this kind of there's you can be more whatever. So you have to have underwriters that understand that.
Correct.
They're like, look, this guy makes $100,000 more really than he's showing because it's, and he can afford this.
So that's why it's not.
So you know lenders that have better underwriting.
Correct. Better underwriting or more flexibility, or they'll go against conventional underwriting.
Or like these are portfolio loans.
Correct.
Oh, right. So they have more flexibility. That's what I was talking about with mine. Like
exactly.
The People's one is like they hold it so they can do whatever they want.
Exactly.
And is there some advocacy that goes on as the loan officer to the lender between?
I mean, it's a true partnership. Like it really, like
but like if somebody has something like, and you're trying to explain it to them, that like try to.
So that's why we connect with them, and we just have very transparent conversations with like the numbers are the numbers, and like, but we'll explain, hey, the tax returns are showing this because of that, or the bank statements are showing this because and sometimes there are some lenders that are only clear cut. Nope, conventional guidelines say this, but then some of these other portfolio
like we get it.
They'll be like, we get it, we understand. We'll take a flyer on that, and. We just explained to the client, like, hey, it's a one-off program, right? Because you don't meet conventional guidelines or FHA guidelines or whatever it may be. And so we have to go to more of a one-off program. So the rate is a little bit higher, but it's going to allow you to buy. They're like, great, okay.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny. One of the things that I encountered, I told you about the program that I did, the professionals program, which is 100% financing up to $1 million and 5% above that, no PMI. Right. Can't touch it with a stick, right? But like some agents, like it was tough because when we were making offers, some agents were like, oh, this is not a good buyer. I'm like, good buyer. I'm a great buyer, but someone's giving me free money.
I know.
And the old joke I used to be a corporate finance attorney at big law, like out of New York when I first started. And I used to do workouts, loans that went bad, like big commercial loans. And a guy that was a workout lender told me one time, he says, we were meeting with some guy, and they had loaned him like 12 million bucks for something down the shoreline. We were sitting with the guy, and he's like, "You got a big problem, Jack." Like, Jack's the borrower, and the Jack looks at him, the borrower, and he goes, "Actually, I think it's you who's got the problem. You already loaned me the money. The money's been gone." Like, and the phrase that came out of it is, if you owe the bank 100,000, it's your problem. You owe the bank $1 million, it's the bank's problem.
Right.
So there is an element to that, like, so like you get like some agents, like somebody like a retired like admiral who's getting a VA loan, right? With like almost 100% financing, like a totally fantastic credit, right? A guy's got an 800 credit score, all these things, and they're like, "Oh, that's not a good offer," like, because he's got 95% financing with a VA loan. It's like this guy's like,
I know.
Well,
that's why it's
you
really
got to educate them about that,
say,
right?
Education is key, because that's why I like always call a listing agent, and they'll be like, "Oh, well, a VA requires this, or an FHA loan requires that," or
you're like, no,
minimum down, or why are they doing this? And like, it's going and educating. Most of the time, fortunately, they're understanding.
Well, that's the key, is having people like you who can call them and get in their ear, because we had to do that and say, "Hey, call over and tell them what's going on here." Like, these are totally great people. Just a program. Why wouldn't I take advantage of it?
Exactly.
Because now I have that extra money to put into my house.
Correct. Yep. That's why education is key.
Education is key.
Education and communication.
So what is the so I know that a friend of mine, we have a mutual friend. You do stuff with Gino? Are you part of that as well? What do you do with that?
Gino for the Kids community.
Right.
And it's raising money for Connecticut Children's Medical Center. And so it's a great fundraising opportunity and charity that we're on and a part of.
So that for there as well, right?
Yep.
So what do you like? So what's the plan for you? Like, are you do you want to grow it bigger? Are you happy where you're at?
No, scale up. I think
But scale like in New Haven, like.
Yeah, and scale could be in a lot of different ways, right? It could be, adding more loan officers eventually. It could be breaking out into like new territories. I'm licensed in several different states. So like I do this week we have like 3 closings out in California, and then
those are done through title companies out there, right?
Yes,
right,
exactly.
We're very unique in that we use attorneys.
Yeah. Not many states.
It's the New England thing.
Yeah, it's a New England thing, or even like New York. There requires 3 attorneys.
I know, it's ridiculous.
Buyer's attorney, seller's attorney.
New York's the whole thing.
Yeah. But yeah, scale could be.
And you have to bring like a good funds check or something to the club.
Yeah.
Like they don't do it here. It's like, you give me an IOLTA check, it's fine.
Right.
But there it's
a little different, unique. But the goal is to get more units, and we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. Right? Is it through hiring more support? Is it through bringing on more loan officers? Is it through expanding our marketing efforts? So there's.
So what would you? So you have a 2-month-old?
Yeah.
Wow. And an 18-month-old?
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So there's 60. So 2 of my kids are 16 months apart. That's tough.
3 days shy of 16.
Yeah, I have the same. Yeah, because the first was IVF, and then we didn't think we could get pregnant. We did.
Right.
Either that or it's the mailman's. That's my joke. And then the third one is actually, you'll love this. Who's 6 years? No, not 6 years. They're 4 years apart. They're 4 years apart, but they're fraternal twins, because they were conceived in the same batch, and then we implanted my son and then froze her, and then had the middle child, Ruby, and then 4 years later or 5 years later, thawed her out and implanted her. So they were conceived at the same time. Wow. So they're fraternal twins. Yeah. They weren't in the womb together, but they were in the same petri dish.
That's great.
It's pretty cool. It's a good fun fact that they're like fraternal twins.
That's awesome.
So the top 2 were 16 months apart.
Okay, yeah.
And you're in the weeds, man. You're in the weeds, both in diapers. No joke.
It's no joke. And I give my family, like my wife and my mom,
it's brutal work.
More credit than you could.
And the thing is too, like I say this, and a lot of people don't like to acknowledge this, but I do too. Like, I'm like okay with babies, like they're my kids and I love them, whatever. But dads kick in, man. When that kid starts talking to you, that's when it happens. Right. Because now it's just some kid. He's like shitting and eating, and you're like, hey, buddy, like, it could be any kid.
Right.
But when that kid starts connecting with you, it's on. Yeah. It's on.
Yeah.
Because my kid already wants to come work here. He's like, how do I work? I'm like, well, this is tough stuff. It's not like, maybe I can have you like, make copies or something or scan stuff. But that's when the connection.
How old are you?
So my son is 10, daughter's 9, and daughter's 6. And I'm about to be 50. So I had a late start.
Okay.
But so it's great. And so to that end, what would you like? Obviously, you're going to have all these great lessons to teach your kids, right? Because you want to set them up the way your parents set you up, right? With a good work ethic, right?
Yep.
And I've learned from just life experience. I'm about to turn 50 that that if you want your kids to do well and to be happy and make a dent in the universe, you have to lead by example. They see everything you do. You could tell them things, but they have to see, like, daddy works hard, mommy works hard, or daddy loves mommy. Like, you have to see all those things. And so obviously you've had so many good mentors and lots of great opportunities. Obviously you excelled academically. You went to a fantastic college. What lessons would you like? What do you most look forward to showing your children that's going to set them up on a path for success, knowing what you do now? Obviously, you're still a young guy, but what would you tell them?
I mean, it all starts off with being a good person. Like, that is the foundation of everything. Just being a good person, doing the right things, just being that is number one. And then I think, as you mentioned before, like, working hard, and then control the controllables. Like,
Control the controllables.
Things that, like, I think about a lot. And like you said, it might change over time. But like right now, I like always want to see my sons, like you said, I always want to like lead by example with them. And
the two boys.
Yeah, my two boys.
Oh yeah.
And just like,
so you deserve two boys. Like, I could see you're, yeah. I thought you'd also be a good girl dad though, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. So my mom we were talking about it yesterday. So my sister just got pregnant with her third.
You'd have a third, you think?
Boy. I never thought so growing up, but now I could see it.
You could do it. It's insanity, the third. It's a level of, I'm just warning you, it can be done.
Yeah.
But it's just a level. It's because now it's not man to man anymore.
Correct. So we'll see. But we were talking about last night. My mom is like, between my sister and then my 3 step siblings, all of them have 3 kids. 2 boys and a girl.
Oh, all right. So maybe it's
tested. We'll see.
So right. So work hard. Control. I love the controllables. I think that's the sort of the takeaway, the tagline here, because like even when people like get cancer and they have to do stuff and they get, one of the things they tell you is, look, what can you control? You control your attitude, right? You can control your diet.
Correct.
You can control that you show up and attend your appointments. Right. You can control what you're reading, what that you take your medicine, right? Because certain things are out of our control, and that's what brings a lot of anxiety. But I think what grounds people is, okay, what can I control?
Correct. And my dad told me that at a very young age.
Control the controllables.
Because whether it was about school, I want to get this grade. Okay, great. Well, you could control how hard you study. Like, you could control how hard you okay. Sports, I want to be able to achieve this. I want to be able to do that. I want to run my 40 time under here. I want to do that. I want to be able to lift it. Right? You got to go put in the extra work. And same thing, with work. I can't control rates. I can't control the inventory, but I can control how hard I work. I control
and the connections you make and who you reach out to,
and all that stuff. And so that's why, like, when you control and you're not focused on the things that you can control, so many people get distracted by what they can't control.
Right.
It just brings bad energy. Then, like, you start to blame others and you start to blame other factors. And where if you could control, if you're in a scenario where your future is dependent on things that the majority of what controls your future is not in your control, you're probably not in a good situation.
No.
So, like, in any situation that you have the majority of the control and you maximize the things that you can't control, that'll work out. It'll work itself out, right?
Wow.
But like that's a really big one.
And then what then when you're trying to like connect with a new agent, say you look up and it's all public knowledge. Oh, this agent does this much work. They can refer me a lot of business.
Correct.
Like, and you have to like, obviously it's better to say, hey, do you know this person? And then you find a way in. Is it for them like is it responsiveness, getting the closing done? Like, is that what agents look for?
Yeah. So exactly. It's responsiveness. It's getting it done. It's program optionality, right? It's good rates, stuff like that.
Calling the listing agent.
Correct. Going above and beyond in those ways. But also we try to focus on so big. I mean, it just happens to play out very nicely, but a rising tide lifts all ships.
Right.
That's what we talk about.
Yeah.
And so that's why my version of Sammy, he's out there and he's shooting content for our realtor partners, right? He's shooting content for realtors. He's shooting, whether it's their houses, their new listings, it's promoting, a job change. So if you look at our RISE page, there's very few things about me. It's about the partners and the people that we're working with. So that's why we're saying, hey, work with us. We have a lot of programs. We have great rates. We work very hard. We're available 7 days a week. All the good stuff, we go above and beyond. But also, we genuinely want to help you build your business. So, let us shoot content for you for free. We'll shoot content for you. Once again, whether it's personal branding stuff, whether it's a listing, we're there helping them grow their business.
Right.
So that's why, that's a big.
And how do you guys get paid by the lender, correct?
We get paid by the lender when the deal closes.
Right. They give you a piece of it.
Correct.
All right. And so different lenders pay different amounts.
Yeah. Or scenarios. Yeah. But we turn around and once again for free. Right as I was starting RISE is when I started to think about this. I was so genuinely appreciative, almost in tears.
Right.
After the first year in the purchase business, I was literally almost in tears, thinking about how.
Well, you're also a very sensitive guy. I can tell. Yeah, I am too. Yeah. I cry a lot.
Yeah. And
for joy. I watch a movie that's touching, and I'm sob. My kid looks over at me. He's like, "What the?" I'm like, "I'm sad." I'm like,
And so I was there, and I was just so thankful. Where you're just seeing how the average mortgage broker in 2025 closed 15 deals in the entire year, something like that, or in 2022 closed 15 deals, and I closed 150 in my first year in a purchase market where I,
in a tough purchase market,
very tough purchase market. And so I was so genuinely appreciative and happy. I'm how do I give back to my partners? And so I was just thinking and spent a lot of time thinking how could I get back? How could I get back? And obviously you can't compensate. There's rules against that and laws against that. So you can't do things like that. But it was okay, what if I hire an internal photographer to help with their listing photos and save them $300-$400 a list, or whatever it is.
Right. And all you need is one deal.
Correct. All you need is one, and go through and then it evolved into now the whole thing. Now, of course we do listing photos, but it's videos, and it's gonna get. We've shot in some videos with some, partners that got 70,000 plus views, 1,000 shares, 1,000 likes, right? And so we're connecting with different
building relationships.
It's all about relationships and helping them gain exposure. And if you truly, genuinely want to help others, it always comes back.
It always comes back because people see you as, we talk a lot about this here, authenticity. So Sammy's working on a video that we're going to actually put out at my party. You should have gotten an invite, but I hope you can come. Bring the kids. It'll be great. There'll be a lot of networking opportunities there. And you should, hopefully you can come and network the shit out of the place, because I know a lot of people. And one of the things we talk about is authenticity. Yep. And so there's these companies that do these videos for lawyers. And I sent them to Sammy. I said, I need a video too. And she was like, this is not you. Yeah. You got to do something. So we have this thing, and I have my kids involved and all this thing. And I'm now thinking in my head, all the people I want to hook you up with, because I know a lot of people, and obviously, now that I know what you do and what you can do, a lot of opportunities come up for me to send stuff, because, obviously it's tricky for us now, because one of the things we see in divorces, we have all the people at twos getting divorced, and if they have to buy somebody out, they're fucked. Right. So there are a lot of assumptions going on right now. Right. So it's harder for me to refer stuff, because it used to be crazy. Yeah. Now it's what do we do? Do we have to sell the house? And but I have a lot of good realtors that I'd love to introduce you to. And my friend Stefan in particular.
Of course, anything that I
can sure. Any divorces. Yeah, we don't do closings, but we do. That's all we do. We do custody and divorces. But thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.